Hello, human peoples. You're listening to the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. To support us and gain access to great exclusive podcasts like Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and our latest show, Spiel Boys, head over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We do game streaming, movie nights with our patrons every Friday night, and you can even commission your own podcast about anything you want. Literally anything, within reason, and we have to do it. You are quite frankly out of excuses not to go visit patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Tom, it's the final Friday the 13th.
It's the final Hackter. Nope.
Yeah.
No. That didn't work at all.
Welcome to
the final
MASKHOLES,
chapter.
everybody.
There, it was right there.
Oh,
God damn it, Tom.
We're done here.
Yeah. I blew it.
Yeah.
We might as well cancel the show.
Yeah. No, we have more show.
That's true.
This is MASKHOLES. I'm David Bell. You're Tom Ryman.
I am.
This is brought to you by Krishanovic.
It is.
Our producer.
Thank you.
Krishanovic presents MASKHOLES, a Friday the 13th podcast where we have been watching Friday the 13th, something we were born to do.
Yeah. Like crisscross.
Yes, exactly. It's just, I don't know, chatting about it. We're gonna go through this this Friday the 13th. We're gonna talk about the plot. We're gonna follow what Jason's up to.
Yep.
We're gonna rate the second biggest monsters, meaning side characters who are out of their minds. If you know this movie, you probably already know who are the biggest contenders for that. And then we're gonna rate the kills until we have, the best kills of every movie, and ultimately we're going to choose a final best kill when this podcast is over.
And then that will be president.
That will be president. Yeah. Oh, thank God.
That's how it works.
Because let me tell you, we got nothing good right now.
It's looking pretty bleak. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, this is Friday the 13th, the final chapter, which is to say we have a lot more movies to go.
I think we have 6 more.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they may have called this a bit early.
Yeah, I looked into this, and it's funny because I yell at movies for doing this, and when it's older movies, it's just quaint. This was so the everybody involved on the artistic side was like, yeah, we have nowhere else to go here. Little do they know they have space. They can go to space, but they didn't know that at the time.
Yeah, they didn't. I still feel like they don't quite know what they have yet. Still,
they don't know. Yeah, like I said in the notes, this series, and I see your rebuttal, Tom, but this series loses its mind after 6. Telekinesis starts happening. Zombies.
It sure does.
And right now they're just like, but Jason is but a mortal. What else can we do with him? And it's like, oh, you don't know squat about this series yet. So they were all like, all right, it's time to pack it up. I guess they were getting diminishing returns with the third one. This is technically the 4th one, by the way, the final chapter. It's part 4.
No, I think the third one was the biggest one yet, I had thought.
Apparently it wasn't doing great.
Oh, okay.
Because Paramount was also like, yes, let's close it out. I mean, maybe it was doing fine, but for whatever reason, both the studio and the filmmakers were like, it's time. And so they pitched this as the last one because they were like, we mean it this time. And sure enough, it did so well that the studio was like, let's do some more, which is such a studio thing to do, right?
Of course. Yeah.
It's the reason we're in the predicaments we are in today, which is like they don't understand that when they play the encore song and the audience goes nuts, that doesn't mean you play another hour. But they can't help themselves.
It means you did it.
Yeah, it means everybody's clapping because you ended.
Yeah.
But
enjoy your champagne.
Yeah, all that's to say that they were right.
They were correct.
They were right.
This was the absolute right thing to do.
This was not, the final chapter.
Because, I mean, Jason was never... Friday the 13th was never going to be, like, known for its artistic merit.
Yeah. Yeah, why not make a million of them?
So yeah,
It's
why
sorta
not just
like-
keep throwing Jason into space or wherever the hell you can think of? It's basically an Ernest movie.
Right, and the reason this lasted is because they knew to go nuts. Like we talked about this when we covered the new Scream movies.
Mm-hmm.
They're up to six Screams, and I'm like, where are the zombies? Where's the telekinesis? Like you have to, like they have to go to space. Like you can't just like imagine
least
if
the
this
future.
series,
At least the
Right.
future.
if this series just kept doing the same cabin slasher Jason thing, we would have gotten sick of it long ago. We wouldn't have this podcast. What makes this work is the fact that they're like, all right, we need to do something drastically new. Let's make them a zombie. And they were right to.
They are all still mostly in the woods.
They are, but they're. I mean, the movies. You know, we've talked about this. Like when you watch Takes Manhattan, you're like, man, I expected that to be more fun than it was. Like the movies aren't amazing.
He doesn't arrive in Manhattan.
No,
until like there's 18 minutes of movie left.
Jason takes a boat to Manhattan is what the actual title. But the point is that these movies have become memorable, I think, because they at least take these huge swings where they at least stand out, you know, from one another for the most part.
Oh, yeah.
At least the later ones, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the final chapter. This is the introduction of Tommy Jarvis.
Oh, boy. Boy.
We get a 3-minute recap, which is shorter than the last time. Last time it was 6 minutes.
We should say the significance of Tommy Jarvis. He will become the first recurring character apart from Jason himself in the series. He will come back for 2 more movies.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is this the Jason movie with the most star power?
In terms of who is famous now? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Kevin Bacon was the first, but this has Corey Feldman and Crispin Glover.
There's probably, man, I don't know. I don't want to definitively say yes because there might be a big thing that I'm overlooking. There's a lot of Jason movies and a lot of people in them.
For sure. I mean, Cronenberg's in one of them.
He sure is, Dave. Boy,
by his request, he wanted to be in it. He fought for that role. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Yeah.
We are.
Tommy Jarvis will become the fucking hero in the Canadian tuxedo from the 6th one. And yeah, he is in the one after this too. He's played by different people. In this case, he's Corey Feldman as a young kid.
They really James Bond this character for no reason.
Yeah, they really do. So it begins with it begins with them having to figure out like why is Jason still alive? They don't really explain it. They just follow him going to the coroner who then awakens him with sex, we'll talk about him later.
Yeah.
Beyond horny.
He's like a local legend.
Yeah.
He must be. There's
folklore
folklore about this guy.
If there isn't a police file about him, there will be.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. He's just maximum perv doctor.
Yeah. Jason comes alive at the morgue. Again, he's still mortal. So we have to believe like he's fine. What happened? He got stabbed in the face in the last one. We'll get into it later.
He got like a axe in the head after being hung.
Right. But he's fine.
Yeah.
He gets
kicked out, basically.
Yep. We cut to teens going to the lake, another part of the lake. It's big lake. And they got Crispin Glover there. They make fun of a hitchhiker who gets murdered.
I love how little these teens have to do with the movie at all.
No.
Before we meet the teens, we actually meet Trish and Tommy and their mom.
The actual main characters.
At the first cabin, yeah. Then we meet these teens. So it's like a hard cut to this other storyline that we're dropped in the middle of. That doesn't matter at all because every single one of these kids dies.
The teens are like the spark. They're the thing that fuels Jason. It reminds me of Alien Resurrection, where it's like, oh, that separate ship with Winona Ryder and all of them. They're the actual heroes, but like there's all of these military people who are just there to be fodder. To like antagonize the aliens. That's what it is. Like all these teens, they're so interchangeable that I this is the first time. I mean, it's been hard before, but this was one of the first times it was really hard to
real
tell them apart.
challenge.
Yeah. These fucking honkies.
Yeah, Paul and Doug really blend into the background.
Oh my God, they do. They're just
They're
there.
chameleons.
They're just they're crash test dummies. They're just there to get hurt.
Yeah. They disappear into the scenery like Carlos the Jackal.
Right. And so this is all to say that there isn't much of a plot except for these teams have very basic team relationships. They're like, I'm so horny. I want to have sex with you. I want to have sex with you. And yeah, they then we have Tommy and his hot mom and his hot sister who live by the lake. And the teens basically like they rent a cabin next door to them, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And hilarity ensues. Tommy, let's see, what are the important plot points? Tommy watches the teens bone next door. He's got a Stan Winston studio. He makes masks.
Is that important though? Is that an important detail?
It's not.
I ask
I guess
because it never comes into play.
It never does. You're right. Even at the end when you think it's gonna, because he's like, oh, he's gonna distract Jason with a mask. Nope.
No, he just cuts
shaves
his hair.
head.
He just cuts his hair.
It's
his
so
masks
weird.
have nothing to do with the movie.
Yeah, there's always they keep ending these with characters making gigantic leaps in logic that turn out to be right. Because like the sweater thing is the same, where the girl is like, I bet if I put on his mom's sweater and act like his mom, he'll be distracted. And she's right. And this one, Tommy Jarvis shaves his head at the end and he's like, I bet if I look somewhat like young Jason, that will there's no reason Jason wouldn't look at him and just go, the kid shaved his head, huh?
Right,
and then
like,
keep killing his sister.
I could sort of understand the sweater, although it would have been really funny if it just hadn't worked at all.
Oh yeah.
Like she's like, Jason, you can say, he's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
But this makes a lot less. This is an even bigger leap. Like why would you think I'm going to make myself look like this guy 20 years younger? Like, why would your big move be to, I'm going to disguise myself to look like this guy as a kid?
It's like he saw the last film.
Do you think he'll think you're him?
Right. And I don't know why it works. I don't know what the plan was, but it fucking works. We also meet Rob, who you think is important, but let me tell you, he's not.
His
sister was killed in part 2, and he vows for revenge.
This movie does the psycho thing like 5 times. I guess. Who is his sister supposed to be?
I forget. I had to read it on Wikipedia because he doesn't explain it that much. He's there to hunt Jason in the woods, and he's like vowing revenge, like Dennis Hopper in Texas Chainsaw 2. But unlike Dennis Hopper, he's even more useless. He just, spoilers, just gets murdered. And we'll talk about that as well.
He doesn't do anything. At least Dennis Hopper cuts the place down.
Right. It's this plot is mostly, and I'm saying this like the other ones aren't, but like this plot is mostly just let's set up all these characters, have Jason kill them one by one. Mm-hmm. None of them matter or do anything. No. And then at the very end, Tommy Jarvis just shaves his head and distracts him.
Some of these characters are barely sentient.
Yes. They might as well be animals. Yes. Might as well be birds.
Yeah. Just goldfish.
Yeah, exactly. That said, this is a big film because this is the start of Tommy Jarvis. So what happens at the end is he distracts Jason somehow. He kills Jason. Jason literally dies, not just pretend dies. And Tommy Jarvis ends up like all fucked up in the head.
Hacking his body up too.
Yeah, he hacks him up. And so like it's setting up the next part, which is they were going to make Tommy Jarvis the next killer in the like they leave the door open in this, you know, like they think it's the final, but they're like, we know better. So they end on Tommy being like traumatized and implied. They love doing this. They did this in Halloween 2 as well. Not Halloween the sequel, but how it was like Halloween 5, The Curse of Michael Myers, right?
Yeah,
where
one of those middle ones.
Yeah, where they like started over again with a new kid, and then they drop that thread, and they're like, no one wants that. So.
Yeah, nobody's into this. Get rid of it. Get rid of it.
It's funny just that multiple slashers have tried that. They're like, what if the main slasher was someone else? And we're like, no. And they're like, okay. Never mind.
Let's not do that.
Yeah, you're right. With Jason's back, he's a zombie. But yeah, this begins.
Halloween gets real weird with it, though. There's like mysticism and Samhain and shit.
Right, it gets real supernatural. Halloween tried to do. I would say I have fondness for some of the sequels, but Halloween, I think, tried and failed to do what this succeeded with, which is like in that Michael Myers just like slowly becomes kind of immortal, and like they never really explain it. In this, there's like he's a zombie. He gets Frankensteined. Literally, lightning turns him into a zombie.
I think
that's it.
I think it's actually the opposite of what you said. I think Halloween tries too hard to explain it, whereas Friday the 13th does not. It's just he's Jason. He's a zombie. Let's go.
Exactly. Yeah. It's and then they don't have fun with it. Halloween doesn't.
Yeah,
not nearly as much.
Yeah.
They just have
it's never
Myers hitting kids with a car.
It does have that. It does have him driving around a field chasing kids.
Right. Again, he's like 45. So as I hit 40, I'm like, I get it. I get it, Michael Myers. I'm not getting out of my car if I don't have to either.
No, not even for murdering.
No. Yeah. Is that the plot?
Yeah, I think so.
There's old-timey porn.
Do we cover it? The old-timey porn. I have a dark horse candidate for the other monsters.
Okay. Well, first we have to talk about what Jason is up to. That's our first segment. And the first thing I have to note is that we see his mother's grave.
Yeah.
And I have the question,
it looks like a carnival grave. It looks like one of the... Let me try to phrase this correctly. It looks like one of the fake graves in front of like the Haunted Mansion.
Yes. I think they want us to think it's a real grave, though. But like...
Fucking Civil War ass grave.
Who bought the... I'm not... So this doesn't mean Jason did it. I'm just curious of what happened there. Does Jason have cousins? Does he have siblings? Who... It's not like... It's not like the grave you'd see. It's not like, fucking Lee Harvey Oswald's grave where it's just like very small plaque.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's someone bought this grave. Like someone paid for a fairly nice, not amazing, but nice enough grave. So I'm just super curious to know who did that. Maybe she has friends. I don't know. I don't know.
I think there's a deleted scene in 6 about that, but
where Jason walks in and like purchases of a grave. That's what I want.
Yeah, no, there's like a reveal that like the grave digger might be Jason's father.
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's pretty... It was cut from the film for a reason.
I mean, now that you mention it, I am kind of like, who is his father? I kind of want to talk to him. I want to know what his...
Yeah. I've got some questions for this guy.
Yeah. Is he still around? What does he think of this?
He can't be. Certainly not by the franchise's chronology, because it's like way in the future.
Right, that's true. Oh yeah, he's not alive by Jason Takes Manhattan, I'm sure.
Like this movie, I think already is in the 90s almost, or maybe no. The Big Jump is part 6. That's right.
Right, we're in the opposite situation. This is all in the same
That's
week.
Right. This is in the same 3 days.
Yeah. So Jason's timeline now is that he went on two rampages, right? We're not sure about the amount of time. I think between 2 and 3.
It seems to be like a couple of days. Yeah.
So I'd say this is about 4 days later, because Jason, he got his ass kicked in 3, if you recall.
Mm-hmm.
He gets his killed several times. He gets beat up constantly at the end, and then he gets hung, and then he gets stabbed in the face, and then he's dead. He's dead. He's down for so long that he is put in a body bag at the start of this movie. He is pronounced dead. So, what do you think this is? Because he gets put in a body bag. He gets brought to the coroner, and he is just in that body bag. I can't tell if he's knocked out, if he's just playing dead, or if there is, in fact, some magic involved here. Because the power of sex brings him back to life. The morgue guy and the nurse get horny in the next to his body.
Yeah, their fuck thunder evanescence him. It wakes him up inside.
Right.
Dave.
It does.
It does. Yeah, it kickstarts his heart.
Wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that means that there was already some magic happening, right?
Jason in one of those lockers, save me.
That must be magic. Like we don't know yet, but there's magic.
I think it's part magic and part just like Jason's sheer anger at sex. He hates it. He hates it so much.
The way I think of it is like he's going to go to hell eventually, and there's going to be
Book
of the Dead,
and become like a slug. He turns into a slug, I think. Anyway.
Right. He's going to deal with Freddy. I think what's happening is Jason is immortal. Not immortal, a mortal. He is a mortal man right now. But there is magic that's honed in on him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There must have been some magic in that old hockey mask he found.
Exactly. Holy shit. Some demon got his sights on him and he's like, I like this guy.
I like what he's about.
Yeah. And they use the power of sex.
We're going to get a lot of mileage out of this guy.
Yeah. So he wakes up just sex angry, kills these people. I also have a theory.
Dave.
Yeah, I have a theory here is that I'm pretty sure he must have stole some painkillers because, again, he is mortal.
He does cut the nurse open in the little pill depository, little pill closet. So he did not leave with a few vials in his pocket.
It would explain why Corey Feldman tricks him at the end because he's like, "Whoa, you look like me, man." I think he's just stoned.
It would honestly explain a lot, like why Trish has to wail on him in the skull for 5 or 6 hits with the hammer, and then finally she just hits him in the neck with a claw, and then he reacts.
Right, and also he barely makes noises in this one. Like in the last one, he does go "oh" when he gets hit.
Yeah, he sure does.
In this one, he doesn't make a peep. So I just think he's stoned out of his fucking gourd. He leaves the hospital.
It would explain a lot of his behavior.
Yeah. He immediately books it to Crystal Lake. Mm-hmm. It takes a few days, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I'm picturing him galloping through the woods on all fours.
Yeah, I could see that. Or at least a brisk jog.
Yeah, just like a heavy guy trot. You guys can picture exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah. And I'm imagining he gets there just in time to see the first teen go swimming. The first murder is Sam she's going skinny dipping.
Well, no, the first murder is the hitchhiker.
Oh, the hitchhiker, right, on the way.
And the people at the hospital, but we covered them.
Yeah. So on the way, he sees the hitch. So he's like picking off people as he goes.
Yeah.
It's very funny.
So I think what happens is he runs up. He's jogging, so he kills the hitchhiker almost immediately after they pass her. So odds are he saw the teens in their car.
Yeah, and he's like, ooh, 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 ooh.
I'll see you later.
Because he's just looking for stuff to kill right now.
Yeah, he's getting the wiggles out. He's been in a body bag for several hours. So
he is, because that hitchhiker did nothing.
No, she worked hard on that sign she painted.
Yeah.
It has one sign that says peace and love, but it also has a useful reverse side that says fuck you.
Yeah, it's
useful. But so he kills her, and then the next time we see him is he kills Sam in the lake.
Right, and it takes him all day because that's nighttime.
Right, so I think he got this. I mean, it lends further credence to your idea that he stole a bunch of pills or vials. Either way, he's high off his ass because it seems like he killed the hitchhiker and then went into the lake and swam the rest of the way.
Yeah, because he comes out and kills Sam like he's the shark in Jaws.
Yes.
He is, I guess he's swimming. Maybe he's swimming and he sees her jump in.
He swam there, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I think, so here's my theory. I think he had the painkillers, but he was just like, I'm still very sore. I need a soak.
Yeah.
I need a soak.
Just not getting a good soak in there.
Yeah, and I think he saw her and he was like, all right. And he ducked under the water and he can hold his breath for a very long time, it seems. And he just jumps out and impales Sam. And then he's like, I'm going to keep soaking because he waits for the other guy, right, to come find out.
He does. He waits for Paul to swim out there and find the body, and then he waits for Paul to find the body and freak out and get all the way back to the dock. I think what happened is Jason shoots him directly in the dick with the spear gun, and I think what happened is he found the spear gun after he killed Sam, and he was like, shit.
I also think he didn't.
I want to use this on someone, so I'll just wait.
Yeah, and he might not be waiting for Paul. He might see Paul, and that's why it takes him a minute, because he's like, oh, shit. And, like, because he doesn't want, like, we've talked about this. He does stealth missions. So he does stealth missions the same way I know I do in Assassin's Creed, which is you're like, okay, I look for stragglers, guards outside of the zone, and you slowly make yourself, you go inward, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what he's doing. He waits for them to go away, like, farther from the house, kills them, and then slowly moves in.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think this was like he wasn't quite ready.
Also,
he
found the spear gun and wanted to use it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It feels like a single-use item. He didn't want to waste that one.
All right. So he has his soak, and he goes roaming, and he finds Rob's tent, I assume, around here, right?
Yeah, it must be after... It's
got to be around
after,
here. I don't know.
I can't remember if it's after Paul. It's definitely after Sam. Anyway, it seems once he's done with his soak, he scampers up out of the lake, finds Rob's tent, and just smashes his gun because Jason hates guns.
Right.
He's like Batman. He's a coward's weapon.
Right. It's wild that he doesn't... I mean, he should skinny dip, right? Because now his clothes are wet, and that's got to be awful for him.
Yeah. It's got to be awful for everyone, honestly, because he can't smell good.
Yeah, I guess his clothes needs a wash. He can't possibly smell good.
Well, yeah, because now he smells like Jason and the lake.
Yeah, it's not great. Smells like fish shit. He goes to the house finally. He stabs Terry with a spear, and he just keeps impaling him. And now he's sort of
goes
like
by before anything else happens after he gets Terry.
Right, he's just circling again. He's circling and he's looking for shit to do, and it takes him so fucking long because our next victim is Crispin Glover, I believe.
Yeah,
it's Jimmy.
It is.
He stabs him in the hand with a corkscrew and kills him, and this is fascinating. And it's so the way the scene plays out is Jimmy just had sex. He goes downstairs to get wine. He gets stabbed with a corkscrew and killed. Then
he's crowing about the sex he just had the whole time, by the way.
Then the young woman he had sex with, who is still, I believe, a floor or two above him.
She's on the second floor.
She's on the second floor. She goes and looks through the window, and Jason just bursts through the window. And they show a shot of him outside, and you see that he is, in fact, climbed the lattice, and he is bursting through the window and grabs her and throws her on the car.
He sure does.
Lord knows why
it's
no
awesome.
one heard this. It's so good.
Yeah.
But what that means is that Jason stabbed Jimmy and killed him, and then immediately went out the door and squirreled up the side of the house.
Here's my theory. I think Jason was already climbing the lattice, and then he heard Jimmy in the kitchen.
And jumped down and quickly
just slid back down. He's like, all right, let me take care of this real quick.
Yeah, maybe. He's very fast either way. Again, it reminds me of it playing Assassin's Creed, where the two people, the guards, they split up, and you're like, ooh, I'm going to kill them. And then you want to separate where you kill them. So you're like, I'll kill this one down here. I'll kill one up here. But yeah, that either way, it's definitely a coincidence that Tina is right there in the window, right? Like, I feel like Jason's just as surprised as her. Like, he's climbing the lattice, like you said. I think he was getting
bored, right? So he stabbed Tina with the spear a while ago and has been circling the two houses like, somebody come outside. So now he's climbing up the lattice to be like, fine, I'm going to break into the top floor. We'll do this shit Black Christmas style. And then he hears Jimmy singing in the kitchen about the sex he just had.
Right, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that guy's
here.
Here
we go. Yeah, gotta get this."
And then I think once he gets up to the window, she's there, and he's just like, "Ah!" Like and he just leaps through and throws her off because I doubt he planned any of that.
No, but from this point on, he is at a frenzied pace.
Yes, because now he's gone loud. He's like, "All right."
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, he's like, "I gotta kill
Cover's
these
blown.
people
All right.
quick."
Stealth portion of the mission is over.
Exactly. He still waits for the couple who are fucking in the shower because he sees them fucking. Apparently they don't hear this commotion because they're fucking in the shower, and I guess it's fine. And he passes them because he's like, I don't want to kill them both. That gets messy. Like, I think he's like, all right, I'm going to try a little more stealth. And that's when he goes downstairs and hides behind the projector screen. And I guess waits for Ted to get close. Or he's going downstairs as Ted is getting close.
I think it's probably that.
Silhouette.
That seems more in the spirit of how things appear to be happening in this movie, whereas Jason just was going downstairs to see if anybody else was up, right as Ted was going up to the projector to be like, hey, you want to give Teddy Bear a kiss?
Yeah. And then stab him
well,
in the
that's
head.
a gimme.
Yeah. It really does feel like you're playing a stealth mission and you're getting impatient. And you're like, all right, let's just
he's trying to force something to happen.
Yeah. So then he goes back upstairs. He's got to be exhausted. The painkillers are really helping.
Yes, that's definitely getting an assist for the night. But one thing we know about Jason is he has fantastic cardio.
Yeah, he does. He slams the guy in the shower tile. He slams his head against it.
Oh, it's so good, Dave.
It's real good. Sarah finds the body, and he's just like, all right, fuck it. Now I'm loud. It's loud. And he just axes her through a door.
Throws an axe through the door. Here's my theory here. It's the same. It's a similar theory. Is because she's in the bedroom drying her hair when he smushes this dude's head in the bathroom and kills Ted downstairs. So I think he was like leaving, or he was going outside to get the axe. And he was coming back up the walk to walk through back inside the door and heard her make all that commotion because she found the body. And he was just like, well, let me just kind of throw this through here. I've been going to those axe throwing places after work lately. Yeah, feeling pretty confident.
Yeah, here's my thoughts on this too, is that this is his third rampage in a few days. Mm-hmm. I think he started just like, okay, I'm a little checked out, but I think he's earned it. Like, he's a pro. So I think what happened, like, he doesn't have to think about it as hard. So I think whether or not he knows it, he smashed that guy's head, and he goes like, he calculates it. He's like, I saw an axe outside.
Right. He's like starting to become the Jason Bourne of murdering teens.
Exactly. And he's like, okay, she's going to see his body. Where's she going to go? She's going to run down the stairs through the front door. So if I go downstairs and I get the axe, I know that I'll meet back up with her. And he's sort of jazzing. Like, he knows, like, okay, he's like, maybe even subconsciously, he's like, I know that this way I'm absolutely going to run back into her. So no matter what happens, I'll get her. And then he got the axe, like you said. He probably turned around, heard the screaming, heard the slamming down the doors, and like instinctively was just like, throw the axe. And then, like I think he's just a pro.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's also maybe he can feel he's running out of gas, and he's like, make him remember your name, Jason.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's got it. He's like, this is my fucking
he's got to feel
third,
this
fourth
is like,
day of rampage.
Yeah.
My head has an axe wound in it.
Yeah.
That is not going to get better. It's not going to get less infected. Like, no matter what happens tonight, even if I get away, I'm dying in the woods somewhere.
Right. He's got to feel that sun looking mighty heavy on the horizon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Old Jason.
It's not going to go great for him. Yeah.
He really is Michael Douglas in Falling Down at this point.
Yeah, he is. He's just... he senses the end is here.
Yeah.
But he's like, all right, one more for the road.
He is self-destructing.
This is where he sets up his own little haunted house.
He sure does.
Yeah. He props all the bodies at the exits, knowing, except for the entrance, because he knows that, okay.
They got to come in.
I've noticed that child and that lady, I killed her mom earlier. And so it's like he knows.
I guess he just swallowed her whole, because we never see mom.
Yeah, he just gobbled her.
Yep.
So at this point, he props all the bodies at various exits, knowing that it's like his own little haunted house. He's like, this is going to be great. I assume he shuts off the power around this time, because he knows like they're going to come in, and I guess they're going to want to turn on the power because it's happened before, right? He's done this a few times where he's like shut off the power, someone inevitably goes to the generator.
Yeah,
he's figured that out.
Yeah, he shuts off the power and they send the boy to fix it. Little Tommy has to fix it.
I think at this point Jason understands how most homes that aren't shacks in the woods work.
It's not actually clear whether Jason shuts off the power.
That's true.
Because they never make it clear whether Jason does it or whether it just coincidentally goes out in the storm.
Right. Either way, he knows to go downstairs. Yeah. And again, he's a pro at this.
He does rip the phone line out later, so we know he knows how it works.
I feel like until he takes Manhattan, he's in his element, meaning that he understands the world around him, right? He starts dealing with some advanced stuff in 6, I guess, but he's still generally like, yeah.
Yeah, I can wrap my mind around this.
Yeah. I think 2, he was still figuring it out. So then he goes in the basement and he waits because he knows, all right, someone's going to come down here, right? Which is weird because if they find I guess he props the bodies so they won't find them. So they're going to check the whole house in his mind.
I mean, that's part of it.
Sure enough,
he props them so that they won't find them when he wants them to.
Right. Now, things start getting weird here. Maybe it isn't Rob as the body that he throws, because he kills Rob.
No, it is. That's 100% Rob.
Okay, so now I have some questions then.
Okay.
Because he kills Rob in the basement, right? Mm-hmm. And then the last person standing, she runs...
Trish.
She runs out the door. Mm-hmm. And then we see Jason just tear down the door corpse. Like it's a string beaded.
Poor Crispin getting punished even more.
Yeah, he just tears him down like it's nothing.
Right,
which is very funny because it reminded me of Buddhist sand art where he put it up there and he's like, it's done its job. She saw it. I don't need it up anymore. Mm-hmm. It's done.
It's like the football team running through the homecoming banner.
Right. But correct me if I'm wrong. He doesn't have Rob there, does he?
Not in that moment that we can see, but maybe he's dragging Rob by the ankle.
I guess he must be, because that's the only.
And maybe that's how he throws him. Because that's kind of how he flies through the window, is completely horizontally.
Yes, it's like a frisbee style. Trish goes into the other house, right? And I assume he watched her go into that house or something, and just dragged Rob out because he knew he was going to use Rob. He didn't quite know how. I think
he's jazzing. He's jazzing.
He's thrown bodies through windows before, so maybe he knows.
These are all his bag of tricks, man. This is what he does.
Yeah, so he's
settling in comfortably here.
He's thinking ahead. He knows he's going to need this body for something.
Yeah.
So he grabs him, and then he hurls him like a frisbee through the window. He indeed goes through horizontally. It's extremely funny.
It is very funny.
Here's where things.
It is perfectly. Never before has flung been such a perfect word. Like, this man is flung through the window. It's an incredible window dive.
It's like a car accident.
Yeah.
Like he flew out of a moving car.
There's a lot of amazing stunts in this movie, actually.
There are. They're giving it their all.
Just like the final chapter, Dave.
Yeah. Jason must be so tired. And this is where things get real bad.
He took another bottle for that.
Yeah, that's true. Because he sticks his head in like, hello, and she just wails on him with a hammer.
Yeah, but it doesn't work for a very long time.
Yeah. And he just this is one of my favorite moments. She wails on him with a hammer. He retreats from the window and then just smashes through the front door.
Yeah, he just walks through the front door.
So he's just like, all right, windows out. I guess I'll go around then.
He's like, all right.
She cuts.
Are you happier with this?
Yeah. She stabs his hand practically in half and he just stares at it.
Oh, yeah.
Because he is so
goddamn high. Yeah.
Yeah.
His teeth are grinding.
Oh, yeah. He goes up to the bedroom and gets slammed in the head with a television. This throws him off considerably.
He's a little on tilt after this. Also, they show Tommy crying, and I have to believe he's crying over his television.
Okay, yeah, that thing is expensive for the
she
time.
Smashed
it's
his
like
TV,
84. Man. Yeah. He needs that TV. He has a cool room. He has so many concussions. He must know at this point, like, okay, I have 5 minutes tops to survive, no matter what happens.
Right. If this were like a science fiction movie, this is when he would pull the pin on the bandolier of grenades he was wearing and be like, get out of here, I'll blow up the nest.
Yep. It's a perfect end to a rampage. Although
it's really the only way a rampage can end.
Yeah. He never takes out Trish, but
no,
he gets distracted.
He gets literally everyone else.
Right. And I guess now that we go through it, Tommy shaving his head, I don't know what's going through Jason's mind, but I can see he's like double concussed and on painkillers. Yeah, I guess might not even be related to Tommy.
Who knows what the fuck he thought he was looking at? Was he like Don Rickles?
Right. Maybe he wasn't even looking at maybe it was the wallpaper that distracted him. You don't know. There's no way to know.
Right. Yeah, it's impossible.
And then he is super murdered.
Yep.
And he's going to be murdered. And I don't know what the afterlife is like for Jason, but I like to think in a blink of an eye, it's like 20 years later and he's a zombie. But we'll get to that.
Climbing up out of a grave.
Yeah.
Killing Jason. Tony Goldwyn.
Yep. Yeah, that's going to be the end for Jason specifically. Obviously, in the next episode, we'll go through the killer. But it'll be a different adventure.
Somebody else in a Jason disguise.
Yeah, it won't be as fun, but then it'll get real fun after that. That's Jason's journey. Any other little... did we miss anything?
No. We pretty thoroughly got it, man. We retraced his steps like a family circus cartoon.
Yes. I love those cartoons.
Yeah,
let's go into second best monsters. I have some shout outs. The helicopter pilot who just screams, "Let's get going" to the cops and everybody.
And also, okay, sorry, finish the thought.
Just, does he have somewhere to be?
I guess, man, it's Friday. He wants to go.
It's very funny that he's just like, come on.
Let's get going.
It's like, dude, it's a crime scene.
He's hovering in one spot and shining his spotlight on a single police car. Yeah. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, are we sure he works for the cops?
No.
I don't know. Yep. And then, of course, there is coroner Axel Burns.
Fucking
His
name
is Axel.
The hospital sex ghoul.
Yep. And Robbie Morgan, the nurse, doing their own little vignette. This is... I don't know about
this is the craziest thing in the movie.
Yeah. He immediately lets on that he fucks the corpses.
He sure does. Or at least he makes a joke about it.
Yeah. The woman says she was a cute girl, and he goes, still is. He's got a deep V shirt, which I just feel like isn't allowed in a hospital, but maybe I'm wrong.
Certainly not with as much chest hair as he has.
Yeah. He's just so ready to die. He has, in his little office, he's got his coffee, he's got his exercise video on, and he's got the corpse of a mass murderer. And he is settling in to jerk off.
Yep.
That is what he's doing.
Or perhaps be blown by a nurse if he can sweet talk her enough. And apparently he can.
He can. They're in a pitch black room. It's the most
with
haunting...
corpses in it.
Yes. It probably smells like corpses. It's the most haunting environment known to man.
Yeah.
And like, I get that when you work at a hospital, you get kind of callous to these things.
Sure.
That's one of those, it's a trope, the coroner who's eating.
In point of fact, this guy is eating when they introduce him.
Yeah. What's not a trope is the coroner who's horny. Less of a trope. But they start making out literally right next to his corpse, to the point that his corpse can touch them. His hand falls.
And it does.
Yeah. They're two of the biggest freaks in this movie.
They are. They're the most deranged people, I think.
Yeah. They're their own horror movie. There's a whole other horror movie.
This is why Jason is so mad.
Yeah, I'd be mad too.
They were all but fucking on top of his dead body, and he's like, "Oh, I'm coming back to life for 18 more hours to right this wrong."
Yeah, the rage charged him because all he hates is fucking, and he must have been like...
It's not all he hates, but it's the thing he seems to hate the most.
Right. I'm surprised he didn't talk in this scene.
He has a lot of room for hate in his heart.
Right. I'm surprised he wasn't like, you guys are fucking? Like, because it's the one thing. It's the one thing he wouldn't want next to his body. He's so mad.
He just says, like, seriously?
Yeah.
Really? So, there's nowhere else you can do this, huh?
Yeah. Apparently not. And so I can't, I have nothing else to say about them, but like, it's
a lot. We've said a lot.
Exactly. It's like, what do you say about like 9/11? You know, like it's just because it's short doesn't mean it's not impactful. So like, you know, it's big. It's a big moment. Shout out to whoever rented that house with his old timey smut. Whoever owned that old timey smut, I guess.
That's
the 90-year-old man jacking it to that.
That was sort of my dark horse pick here for second best monsters is whoever owns the cabin they rent, because the decor is out of its gourd. Like if you just look at the different pictures and portraits and paintings and stuff that are in the house, it's all crazy. Right. He has stacks of old-timey porn with no explanation.
My other dark horse is Mrs. Jarvis, because she moved there. Like, they're renting a cabin next to her house that she moved to. She moved to the murder lake, really far away from civilization with her kids. It just feels like she killed her husband.
Well, we hear that they just went through like a bad divorce and that Trish just saw. So I think she moved out there to like get away from him. But like husband. Trish, but they say that Trish just saw it.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
That's like what she's returning from, I believe.
Yeah, I guess that makes enough sense. But yeah, whoever made that porn, it's great porn. They don't make porn like this anymore.
It's really great, yeah, like with the little animated word balloons, like silent movie porn.
It's fancy porn.
Yeah, it's classy stuff.
Yep. This is about being a monster, but just shout out to the dog who knows when to leave.
Right, the dog jumps out of a window, and it does not out of a window, it's through a window, and we never see him again. Never again.
It abandons its family.
Yeah.
It's like, nope, we're done.
Dives head first through a window, and we never see it again.
It's an amazing effect. It breaks a window with its head. It smashes head first, and I assume just goes to join the wolves. Like, that's what I assume happened to it. It was just like, okay, the world of man is not for me. I don't understand this anymore. Yeah. I'm going into the woods forever.
I thought I knew the rules, but apparently some of these things have masks and are just like that guy, so
yeah.
I'm returning to the mountains.
I kept tabs on all the characters, but we don't have to talk about them all. Like Trish is generally, she's whatever, you know.
She's a blank slate pretty much.
Yeah. Tommy is like Future Maniac. It's Corey Feldman, so you know, Future Maniac, but also the character, he's having his sexual awakening during this weekend, and that's worth noting because he also kills a man in a hockey mask. In the same weekend, and I'm guessing those things are going to be tied forever, you know?
Yeah, probably inextricably.
He sees two teenagers fucking next door, and my thought is that Corey Feldman is a child. My thought is that they gave him a very vague direction. You know what I mean?
That is correct, yes. That is the actual explanation for his totally insane reaction.
Right, but he makes like monkey noises.
Right, we're basically seeing him get his first boner, and like he can't express what he's feeling, so he becomes an ape child.
Yes, he does.
His reaction is indecipherable.
And I was like, well, I don't think that's how that works. Like, I certainly didn't make those noises when I was a child.
I didn't do somersaults on my bed.
Yeah, exactly. So it's weird, but he's having like a great weekend of discovery, and then he has to murder a man. And the whole point is,
like you said, a great weekend of discovery.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, he's gonzo.
Yeah.
He is also lightly a maniac with his fucking Stan Winston studio, because he makes masks and stuff that are of the same quality. So like he's got to have like a a shed with like molds, you know, like professional level mask making.
Right, he has to be able to like boil and mold his own plastic and shit.
Yeah, so that's weird.
Rob fucking just in the woods. I'm hunting down the guy that killed my sister.
They're doing this thing that, like, I don't understand why they're doing it anymore. In the early ones, they wanted us to think other people might be the murderer. But we know who the murderer is.
Right.
It's Jason.
We're all clear on who the murderer is.
Right. But Rob lurches out of the room with a gun, or out of the woods with a gun and a knife. He's just like, car trouble? And like
he grabs the 10-year-old boy and says, "Hi, I'm Rob Dyer."
Yeah. And then they drive him and he's like, "Tell me, are there any kids around?"
"Take me to your house." And they do.
Yeah, that's Trish is a maniac just for that.
Yeah.
And so Rob is like
Rob sucks. He sucks so
Yeah.
but I love him. I love that he sucks. He's like
Right,
Dan from Street Fighter.
he is, because at first he's just like this weird maniac, and then you think like, oh, it takes a maniac to catch a maniac. He's gonna get revenge, and he gives his whole explanation, and then he dies like an asshole. And he gets stuck on some stairs and dies, begging for his life. And the most use he has is as a tool to break a window for Jason.
Yep.
He has the same usefulness as like a log.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
A rock.
Yeah.
Basically. His his final act on this earth is to scream at the 10-year-old and the teenage girl, "Help, he's killing me."
Yes. What a coward. What an amazing coward.
He does say like "run," but like he just
Don't get me wrong. I would scream "help, he's killing me" in the same situation, but I wouldn't be the guy who like talked such a big game. That's what it is.
Right. I would have
like,
been camping out in her backyard for a day with a gun and shit, being like, "If this fucking guy comes near you, don't worry, I'll keep you safe."
Right, he's such a larper.
Immediately, yeah. Gets grabbed by Jason. He's killing me.
I'm so weak.
He's killing me.
Rob sucks so hard. It's so funny.
And then he gets pinwheeled through the window.
We can't stress that enough. Pinwheeled. It's the funniest
flings
fucking
his ass.
thing.
Get the
most
fuck through that
humiliating.
glass.
Oh my god.
I love Rob. He sucks.
He sucks. And then of course we have Jimmy, played by Crispin Glover. It's hard not to recognize him as he's Crispin Glover.
Right.
So
and he seems to be doing, like, he's not famous yet. This is before Back to the Future. This is among his first roles, if not the very first. So he can't be like big leaguing them. And yet it seems he's doing, right. It seems like he is. It seems like he's doing a private bit. Because
it's like he knows.
Right. Every line delivery is insane. It's like he's doing half of a Jimmy Stewart impression.
I would argue he gets the assignment. And the assignment is, listen, you're all fodder. You might as well be as weird and memorable as possible.
Right. It doesn't matter what he does, honestly.
Right.
So yeah, you're right. You might as well be a weird fucking goblin so people talk about you 40 years later.
And I'm sure he auditioned that way, and they were like, "Yeah, we got to have that guy."
Yeah, obviously,
why? Because I remember him. Yeah.
Like the way
the
way he says. So I just wanted to hit this one line. Real quick when they're down by the lake, where he's like, "Oh no, we don't have any suits." When she tells him to come skinny dipping, it's seriously every line he delivers sounds like he's doing Jimmy Stewart and then gives up halfway through the sentence.
He's also dressed like Jimmy Stewart.
Yes.
So I guess that's his whole vibe. And then his first scene, he says, "God, I'm horny," and we're like, "All right, I get his deal."
Yep.
Then, of course, the dance sequence. He walks up to this young lady and says, "Would you care to dance?" And just Google Crispin Glover dance Friday the 13th. If you haven't seen it, there is no words to describe it.
It can't be described.
It is not what you'd think of as a dance. I heard a rumor that the song was originally Back in Black.
I think that is allegedly what they are dancing to. Yes.
Right, but then someone set it to Back in Black, and it still doesn't work.
No,
it still doesn't match
it still
up.
doesn't explain it. Is the funny thing.
Yeah.
So that may well be true because I mean obviously they do this all the time. They'll play one thing on set with a similar I think time signature and then just replace it with something that they can afford later.
Right.
So I'm sure it probably was Back in Black. It's just that it just makes what he does even funnier because it doesn't even match up to that.
No, it doesn't match up to any.
It's like alien sign language.
Yes, that's such a good way to put it.
Yeah.
It is the scariest thing in the movie. I don't know what else to say about it. There's
another moment like later when the twin, one of the twins comes up to him and asks him to come upstairs. He is fastidiously constructing a Cheeto sculpture out of toothpicks.
Right. Yes.
Everything he does is incredible in this film.
It's incredible. His mentor is Ted, his sex mentor.
Oh man, Ted.
And it's a real problem. Ted was doomed to die while watching old-timey porn. Like obviously.
Yeah. Yeah.
His whole bit is he's like, "I'm your sex mentor." And then of course he just loses all steam. He ends up jerking off to black and white pornography.
He's basically Vince Vaughn in Swingers condensed into like 3 minutes.
Right.
He keeps. I like Ted because he keeps. Well, that's a strong word. I don't want to say I like Ted, but Ted. He has this he has one move, and his move is to pick up this teddy bear and be like, "Hey, this is a teddy bear. I'm Teddy Bear. Do you want to give Teddy Bear a kiss?" And then to force his mouth onto other people's faces.
Right.
Amazingly, this keeps failing.
Yeah. It says one move.
He keeps doing. He does it like 3 times, and it doesn't work ever.
If we had to give these characters a plot line, it is basically between him and Crispin Glover, which is that it's Ted being like, "I'm checking my computer, and you're a dead fuck," meaning you're bad at sex, and he's talking down to Crispin Glover, and then in the end, Crispin Glover basically abandons all Ted's tactics, is basically himself and gets laid, and then Ted gets murdered, and he jerks off to porn, and that's it. That's most of the B plot of this movie.
And the other one is that girl Sarah and her friend Sam, and Sarah's like, "Oh, I think I'm gonna have sex with Doug for the first time this weekend,"
right.
And Doug is an indecipherable slab of meat. I don't know which character he is.
We skipped over him because he's
nothing. He's a nothing.
He's nothing.
He barely exists.
Oh my God, he really does. He's a scarecrow.
He doesn't do anything. The best thing about him is he says "oh oh oh" as he's getting his head crushed.
He does. That is worth noting. He goes ho 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 and then dies.
Jason is like, "Absolutely not."
Yeah. Jason's like, "No,
go ahead and shove your head into the wall."
Yeah.
Get in there.
Samantha just does the thing that they keep doing in this movie, which is that it's late at night, there's a lake, and she's like, "I'll skinny dip." And I'm like, "Will you though? Why would you do this?" And then she sees like an old shitty raft and goes, "I'm going to get in that raft."
Yeah, let me rub my fucking
it's
naked
disgusting
body on this old raft to get all kinds of things, all kinds of parasites crawling in.
Oh yeah. Jason didn't get her. The raft would have. And then finally we have Tina and Terry, which they're unnatural. They're twins.
Just the incidental twins. Like I feel like they were part of a different horror movie.
Yeah,
because they show up like a prophecy, right? Like they show up in the middle of the woods, and they're like, "Oh, these ladies are hot," and they're like, "Hey, you want to come back and party?" And they're like vaguely foreign, and they come back and party, and they're like weirdly DTF.
Yes, their defining personality is horny. They are just horny. And they are dressed alike.
Right.
They're interchangeable, horny twins. They could be ghosts. Like, they could be demons.
They could be ghosts. You might think they could be a Midsummer situation. Like, they're part of a different horror movie is what I'm getting.
Absolutely. Midsummer, definitely like a cult. They terrify me. This is why people don't trust twins. Like, don't dress alike. What are you doing?
Don't do that.
You know?
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Unless you're trying
It's
to
unnatural.
parent trap people.
Yeah. You're terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Otherwise, I'm just going to assume you're all midsummering.
Right. That's all I had for monsters. Who wins?
It's genuinely tough. I mean, coming into this, before rewatching it for this podcast, I would have just said Crispin Glover without thinking about it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, same here.
However, Axel the Hospital Sex Ghoul
I think he wins.
makes a real strong argument. And yeah. I think he wins.
I think he wins.
I think he wins as... who would have thought, Dave? A dark horse.
Yeah.
I was so sure Crispin Glover had this in the bag.
It's wild because it's like, how did I not remember him?
I think I always...
And now watching it.
Yeah, I always forget that this movie starts with the hospital stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it happened in one of them. I think they do it later, too. Jason Goes to Hell has some hospital stuff.
Yeah, it's It's the guy he spends most of the movie as. It's the coroner in the hospital.
Yeah. Man, a lot of coroners getting it in this.
Doesn't pay to do the autopsy on Jason.
No.
You see that body come in, just be like, nope, take him back outside.
Yeah, throw him back in the lake.
Put him in the dumpster. Yeah, put him in the lake. Yeah. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
He likes it there.
Yeah. That's his home. It's his home. All right. We got to rank some deaths here. There are 14 total deaths in this movie.
There's some good ones, too.
Yes, there are. So, the first one is Axel getting his head sawed off.
It's
pretty good.
Yeah. That doesn't quite capture it. It's like he gets the bone saw to the neck. So he gets his neck sawed open, and then Jason grabs his head and twists it around.
Right. He pops it off. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty great.
It's pretty sweet.
Nurse Robbie
It's a hell of an opening track.
It is. They knew. The nurse gets choked out and then cut with a scalpel.
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly.
Yep. Hitchhiker having the worst day, just stabbed in the head while eating a banana.
It's gross.
It's a funny death. Yeah.
It's gross.
Samantha gets impaled through the raft. He jumps out.
Mm-hmm.
Paul. Paul. Short and sweet.
Dick, man.
And I think that's the killing blow.
Yes.
Like, it's not that he gets harpooned in the dick and then stabbed.
No.
The harpoon stabs
enough.
him in the dick and goes all the way into, I assume, his organs. Yeah. Amazing.
It's a pretty great one.
Terry stabbed with a spear against the wall. Worst one, Mrs. Jarvis. We don't know. Killed off screen.
Yeah, again, we're just going to... It is our responsibility to assume that Jason swallowed her whole.
Right. Jimmy, stabbed with a corkscrew.
Man, cleaver to the face.
Oh, right. Yeah. Tina, thrown on a car through a window.
This one is so good.
It's so good because you just... Again, I don't think either of them expected it. That's what makes it great.
I mean, also, it's just an incredible stunt.
Oh yeah, that too.
There's 4 windows that have bodies fly through them in this movie.
It's great. Who are we at? Ted stabbed through porn.
Yep.
Yeah. Doug head crushed into a shower tile while going ho 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 like an asshole. Pretty fun.
Pretty solid.
Sarah axed through the door in the chest. Rob stabbed to death like a coward in the basement.
Yeah, he's like bludgeoned.
Yeah.
Bludgeoned,
and finally, Jason Voorhees hacked to death with a machete by a child.
Mm-hmm. Right in his head, right in his dome.
Yep, right in this dome. Man. So Jason's death is probably one of the biggest deaths of the series, meaning that plot-wise, it holds a lot of weight, right?
That's true.
But we're not judging this based off that.
No, we're judging it based on awesomeness.
Yeah. It is pretty awesome, too. That's why I bring it up, too.
It is pretty awesome. It's an awesome effect. He's got his little face moving, like his little eye.
Yeah. The ones that stand out to me...
gross little head sliding down the machete.
Yep. The ones that stand out to me are obviously thrown through a window onto a car.
Yeah.
saying ho ho ho, tile death. Through the dick, harpoon in the dick. And honestly, the banana one, just because she also squeezes the banana out.
Right.
And it's just a very elegant death. It's not big, it's not hype, but it's just like you remember it, you know? What about you?
That's true. Man, I'm feeling it's tough. It's tough. I'm feeling man, I'm really feeling Tina. I like Axel a lot. That
Axel's
head twist
off,
is pretty gnarly. Yeah, shoot, dude. This is the tough one.
Yeah, so I'll make a case for Tina, which is that out of all the deaths, you expect people to be stabbed, to be head cut off. You don't expect someone to be thrown on the roof of a car.
Right.
To die from blunt force trauma of a car.
Right. You don't expect Jason to kill you like a diehard henchman.
Exactly. It's pretty great. It feels weird to not do Jason's death.
That's
but
true.
Fuck.
That's what I'm struggling with. I'm struggling between Tina and Jason. What do we do?
Yeah,
what
this
do we
is
do?
the hardest one.
What would Jason do?
Jason's death is really gnarly.
Let's go with Jason then. Let's go with Jason.
Okay.
I feel good about it, Dave.
Jason, I'm writing it down. Killed by a child.
Yeah.
To death. Yeah, I feel good about that because if that was Jason hacking someone up, it would easily be that death.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It would be. It's so over the top.
It's incredible. And he's screaming, die, die, die. And he's Corey Feldman with a shaved head.
Yep.
Just out of its mind. How did we get to this point?
Yep. He has eye blackener on. He looks like fucking Billy Corgan.
He does. Oh, my God. Fuck, man. All right. Next up is A New Beginning, right?
Yeah. Next up is the one at the halfway house.
Fakeson.
Yeah,
that'll be interesting. I don't know how we're going to tackle that.
We just treat the killer like Jason.
Yeah, we will. It'll have slightly, the killer will be like more of a poser, you know?
Yeah, it's going to be a poser with a U.
Yeah, we won't understand his character as well.
Nah. But we can use that, Dave. We can use our contempt for this imposter.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Also, it's a pretty fun movie.
It is. It's not a bad movie, for sure. We watched it fairly recently, I feel
we did. And we did. And Dave, I'm proud of us. I'm proud of what we've done here.
Me too. And I'm proud of Krishanovic.
Me too.
Krishanovic. Thank you. Thank you so much, our producer, for making this all happen. This was through our Patreon, patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed, GAMEFULLY, unemployed. Yeah, you do custom podcasts. We have exclusive podcasts for just $5 a month. You get access to Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Star Trek: The Next Futurama, Spiel Boys, all available. $5 a month, so check it out.
Yeah. We also have a store. Head over to gamefullyunemployed.com where you can find a link to our Teespring store. We have all kinds of cool original artwork and designs you can get on t-shirts, mugs, stickers, posters, all sorts of things. So slap your little mask hole peepers onto that. And
absolutely.
Leave us a review, please. Apple Podcasts, wherever you happen to be listening to this, leave us a little bit of review. It helps us out.
Yep.
All right.
And goodbye.
Yeah, I think goodbye.
Goodbye.